Every wrestling legend follows their own path to fame and glory, but you won't be crowned wrestling royalty without harnessing the power of the Masters to ignite your quest. Your rise to stardom begins at the feet of giants, and the only way to earn a legend's respect is victory. Training with the best is never easy, but wear those bruises with pride. You're going to need all the help you can get to unlock your potential and win the support of legendary wrestling icons. Once they're on your side, those legends become extremely powerful allies. Enlist their help as managers to energize your team. Wield their awesome power moves to tilt the match in your favor and unleash your own brand of mayhem. So, get ready to begin your legendary journey, because it's time for WrestleQuest!
How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. I'm still working my way back, but I'm almost there. And it is Wednesday on this show, and we got a lot to talk about. Yesterday on this show, I mistakenly noted that NXT was just like a Best of awards show. Boy, was I wrong. It was a full NXT show. So I'm delighted today to alert you all that we will have the world-famous NXT report coming up in the final segment of the show. And it was a good show. I enjoyed it. And there was an excellent main event. And, of course, we've got a lot of big shows coming up, including this weekend. It is the World's End pay-per-view. We have the lineup for that. We went over it yesterday, but we have new matches added to the Go Home Dynamite tonight. We got the Gold and Blue League finals and a number of other matches as well. And, of course, the rest of the news, ratings from the weekend. It was a holiday weekend, but overall things did well. So we'll tell you about that. And also some notes on Goldberg, who did not have good things to say about Vince McMahon when asked. Also we'll talk about Bryan Danielson when we go over the matches for the Dynamite show tonight. CM Punk returned to action in a WWE ring for the first time in 10 years at the Madison Square Garden show last night. We have the results of the show. Show did gigantic business. We'll tell you about that. And, of course, all of the notes from NXT as well. If you want to text us here today, you're welcome to. 425-780-7566 is the phone number. That is 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com. F4W Online Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. At Bryan Alvarez on the X. Back in a moment with more Observer Live.
The twins, and yeah. know your move.
Well, we're back here on the show. Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com, is here. What's going on?
Have you found your jar of shoot blubber yet?
No, I have not found the jar of blubber. It is missing.
This is not good.
I'm getting a little bit disturbed. And I asked everybody, and nobody knows where it is. The last anyone saw of it was on the Christmas show when Sean grabbed that jar of blubber. And we haven't seen it since. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, DJ, that is not a good sign.
No.
At all. Were you on the Christmas show? I am just like, I've forgotten.
I was indeed.
Yeah.
It was quite the spectacle.
Yes, if you've not seen it, you can check it out, WrestlingObserver.com for the audio. But this is one where you have not subscribed to the video. You probably should subscribe to the video. It is a much better show on video. So, yeah. Yeah. Hey, anyway, we got a lot coming up tonight.
Mark and Wang in the same camera shot. I wish people could have seen what I saw, because all it is a grid of everybody who's got a camera on them at the moment. And there is, in the top left corner, there is Craig, just like Dad, looking as disappointed as he possibly could be in all of these poor people. Vinny next to him, Brian next to him. But it was when Mark and Wayne came through, and it was an amazing scene, because here they are in this little box, and Mark comes in, and he's kind of noticing the camera. And if you've ever seen Mark before, he's got the black glasses on, the curly hair over to the side, and he's kind of looking in the camera like this. And then there's Wang, who's just sitting there like he's never seen anything like this before, and he's just staring into the camera.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're both in one shot. And I couldn't take my eyes off of them and all of this other cavalcade that's going on. So I don't know who had to edit this, but God bless
There was
them.
no editing.
Oh my
It was all done live.
Oh.
It was live to tape. There was no editing done whatsoever. Give a shout out to old Jared for keeping that thing together. Remotely, by the way. He was at his house. It was a miracle. It was a miracle. Yeah, and then the beginning of the show, Granny comes on, and I say, Granny, we're not going to make you sit through the whole show. We'll just say hi and do a little frivolity, and you can leave. She goes, no, I want to stick around longer. So I was like, okay, well, you can stick around longer. That's fine, whatever. Let's all take a shot. So I take a shot. She starts yelling at me for drinking.
I think she was the one who tipped off Lance to all of a sudden come up with dinner plans where he couldn't make it onto the show. Yeah. I'll hit you off later, guys.
I'm sure it was a heck of a dinner. Okay, listen, we got Dynamite tonight, and there's a lot that's on the show, a lot that's been added. We have Jon Moxley, Jay White, Swerve Strickland in the Continental Classic Gold League Finals. We have the Blue League Finals, which is Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston. We have MJF and Samoa Joe versus the Devil's Henchmen, it says here on the front page.
Oh, my.
Sky Blue faces Chris Statlander. You know what's funny?
Recently added.
You know what's funny is I'll just talk about all this later. Keith Lee will appear, and then Renee Paquette will interview Mariah May. So let's go through all this one at a time, all right?
All right.
I said this yesterday at the end of the show, but, some people turn off in that final segment, the last 1 minute. So I just want to say that I'm not saying that I think that this is a bad idea. I'm not saying I think this sucks. I'm not saying anything negative about this. I'm just saying I would not have done this, okay? And that is, in the first ever Continental Classic, the first one ever, it's never been done, I would have had a winner, the top two in the Gold League. I would have had the top two in the Blue League, 2 singles matches, winners face off, that's the champion. That's what I would have done, okay? They opted in year 1 to have a 3-way tie and do a 3-way. I don't have a problem with it. It's fine. I'm sure it's going to work out great, but I wouldn't have done it, okay? Like I said yesterday, very first Royal Rumble, guy threw everybody out and won. Great. Second one, guy throws everybody out and wins. Sweet. Third one, guy throws everybody out and wins. Okay, that's great. Now we know what it is. Okay, well, now you have the year where guy gets thrown out, but the ref doesn't see it. He climbs back in, he throws somebody else out, he wins. All right, well, it's been established. All right, then, year 5, 2 guys tumble over at the same time. It's a tie. Well, that's kind of weird. All right, then, year 6, 7, you do a normal finish, whatever. Year 8, you do something a little silly. So I would have just keep it simple. First year, keep it simple. You want to do a 3-way finish next year? That's great. I don't think it's bad. I'm just saying I would have kept it simple for year 1. That's me.
I agree.
That's
me.
I
agree. Yes.
Then we've got Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston in the Blue League Finals. And, man, I saw this quote from Bryan Danielson. He was interviewed by New Japan, actually, talking about the Tokyo Dome. He was talking about that first match with Okada, where Okada did the flying elbow and he landed on Bryan's arm and broke it. Bryan says, I wrestled for another 10 minutes with a broken arm. And because I fought through, I couldn't hold my son for 2 months. I still don't have full strength in my right arm because I did come back a little bit early because I came back when people need me to come back.
Oh, yeah?
And keep in mind, that's his arm. We're not even talking about his eye, where he got his eye surgery. He was not supposed to come back until January, and he was back in the ring at the end of November. I don't know,
his
man.
neck or his head, which it's hard not to talk about all the time when he's out there wrestling.
I just think when you get hurt, you should just, recover. I think that should be, the rule. Maybe
you
I'm
get
old.
A roster of 200 guys, and you have a guy who's going to be working your partner's biggest show coming up on January 4th. What was the need to rush into this Continental Classic? Why did they not give time to build into it? I don't know. And I don't know how much he may be exaggerating at all in that interview.
I doubt he's exaggerating. He's a straight shooter.
But that's the thing is, even if he was a little bit, in this case, it is absolutely rooted in truth. So I know people probably get sick of you saying, if he makes it to the Dome, but it's things like this that, again, foster those comments and create those comments and those thoughts when dealing with Bryan Danielson, sorry.
All right, then we've got MJF and Samoa Joe versus the Devil's Henchman. Now, this is interesting for a lot of reasons. So, he's not doing it on television, but in all of his interviews, MJF is still playing up this bidding war of 2024. Ugh. He's still claiming that his contract is going to expire and that, the first day, I guess, of 2024, he's a free agent. That's what he's claiming, which, let's get real, everybody. But anyway, so this is the storyline that he's doing off TV, but he's no longer doing it on TV, okay? So because of that, I don't know what's going to happen here tonight. If this was like a storyline that your AEW World Champion is going to be wrestling without a contract starting on January 1st, then I can see the idea that, well, let's have the Devil's Henchmen win those Ring of Honor tag team titles. That way you get people thinking, well, they're taking the belts off him just to be safe. So that way when you go into the pay-per-view on Saturday, you got people thinking, well, Samoa Joe's going to win that title. We got to get these belts off him if this guy don't re-sign.
Is that what they're thinking?
And then, of course, MJF, he ends up, retaining the title. So I don't know what they're going to do tonight, but I'll put it this way. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if MJF and Samoa Joe lose those Ring of Honor tag team titles. I think there's a good chance these henchmen are winning the tag team titles tonight. Now, will they unmask? Will the Ring of Honor tag team champions be the Devil's Henchmen? Well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out tonight.
Is that what they get their check signed as?
Yes. No, they get cash in an envelope. Don't be silly.
I gotcha.
Yes.
Boy, if we could just find out.
Of course,
backstage.
A Devil's Henchman gets paid under the table. They ain't paying taxes.
Obviously, they have a henchman in production, too, who keeps turning off the lights and putting up things on the screen for everybody to read. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But whether or not it plays into MJF leaving or not, doesn't matter. They need to take those titles off of them and either merge them with the AEW World Tag Team titles or just get rid of them altogether.
More after the break. Observer Live.
Yeah, I mean, in 2018, 2019, I was at the lowest point of my life. My addiction was in full force. I didn't leave my apartment. I was drinking all day from sun up to sundown, and I never thought that I'd be back in professional wrestling. I thought that I was just gonna keep existing a miserable existence like I was, staring out my apartment window at the sun setting every day as I just drank myself to death. And I guess the light bulb went off, and I think wrestling was a big part of how I got sober. I always, my first love in life has always been professional wrestling. From the time I was going to shows at Madison Square Garden as a very young kid. And there came a moment where I actually believed if I got back on track, I could make it back into the world of professional wrestling and make it to the top of the world of professional wrestling. And I really believe that in my heart. I know a lot of people, they say things like, I believe I'm going to be the man, or I believe I'm going to be the world champion, but you could tell when you look in their eyes, they don't actually believe it. I really believed it. I thought, if I can get back on track, I am going to make it back to the top of professional wrestling. And now I'm AEW World Tag Team Champion, sitting at this table as one of the top guys in AEW, and I would say that that's the top of the professional wrestling world. So I did exactly what I thought I would do.
And Bill, that is unbelievable. That is unbelievable, and I am really proud to say that AEW's been a part of this, but really what you've done on your own, and it's amazing the journey you've been on. That was an incredible story, and your story is incredible. And something else that I find incredible when you told me this is that this championship, this AEW World Tag Team Championship that you hold with Ricky Starks, that you, Big Bill, this is the first championship you have ever held at any level of professional wrestling. That is astonishing, and the fact that you've come so far and from where you came back from, it's pretty amazing.
All right, also tonight, and I don't have a problem with this. I just think it's kind of funny when I think about it. So remember how like AEW would never, ever, ever, ever do rematches? It was like we'd just wait forever to see a match. And meanwhile, you'd watch WWE and it's like we'd see the same match 3 weeks in a row or whatever. Well, I don't know what it is, but they advertise Sky Blue and Chris Statlander. This may be a first-time ever match, but I feel like I've seen it like a dozen times. Am I wrong about that? That's kind of weird.
Somebody check Cage Match for us.
Yes, please check Cage Match for me. We have the appearance of Keith Lee, and Renee will interview Mariah May, who will surely say, I will be debuting soon, but I can't tell you when.
I wrestled in Stardom.
But I wrestled in Stardom. That's right.
Yeah.
We should have over-under how many times she mentioned Stardom. I say at least twice. And that she will be wrestling soon. But we don't know when. That's my prediction.
I just wonder if we'll get a retort from Tony Storm.
Now we've got the who's going to win. Well, I think Jon Moxley's winning the three-way. I think afterwards Keith Lee is going to attack Swerve because he can't do it during the match. And that will set up Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee at World's End. We will finally get that match at World's End. Or Keith Lee will show up and then just not do anything, and then Hangman will attack Swerve, and then we'll get that match, and we'll still never get Keith Lee and Swerve. That's a distinct possibility.
The way things have gone between them, sure. Well, maybe they can find who were Swerve's two henchmen that he used to have back in the day who completely disappeared, the two tattooed
they're gone.
Guys.
Yeah. Harlan. That guy.
Oh, my.
Harlan, what was the other guy's name?
I don't know. Was Harlan Bordeaux in WWE?
Yeah. What was the other guy's name? It was like a word.
He looked like Stitches, didn't he? He had the tattoos on
Trench.
his Trench.
That's
Trench.
Right. Trench. Good.
Oh, man. Maybe they bring Rick Ross back, too. Use a big Keith Lee.
Okay.
I think Jon Moxley's winning, too, by the way.
Yeah, Jon Moxley is winning. And then the other match will be Eddie Kingston winning.
Yes.
And then at World's End, Eddie Kingston beats Moxley.
Yes.
Wins the Triple Crown.
Makes sense to me.
That's what I've thought since literally day one.
Because Eddie Kingston, when it gets right down to it, too, he's the most expendable guy, and he's a guy that I know some people would love to see on the AEW roster every week, but for right now, I think you can maximize more when he comes in, makes a special appearance, the music hits, and outstorms Eddie Kingston. And him spending his time in ROH, him spending his time in Japan or on New Japan shows here in America, I think you give him having that flexibility, I think is a great thing for him. And I think, the guy's whole life, he wanted to be a part of that King's Road. He has checked off every single box. Will he ever get the Triple Crown Championship? No. Is this kind of his version of it? Yeah, for right now it is.
See, the thing, everybody, is, maybe, whoever, this, that. Listen, Danielson is not winning this tournament to immediately go lose to Okada as the Triple Crown champion. Moxley is not winning the tournament to go and immediately lose to the three-way they've got for the global title.
The global honored crown, except it's not.
So, Jay White or Swerve, they could win, but, I don't think it's going to happen.
No.
And that's my prediction. All right, we also have a couple of ratings notes from the last couple of days. They actually did quite well on the holiday weekend. Collision did 489,000 viewers and a .16, which is up 7% in viewership and 7% in the demo, so that did well. And then that was a good show, by the way, a lot of good tournament matches. And then the Rampage show, 363,000 viewers, which is up 18% from the previous week. And .10 in 18 to 49, up 25% from the previous week. So that was way up. The Rocky Romero-Orange Cassidy match did very well. And then SmackDown on Friday, 2.1 million viewers and a .55. So that was the one that showed that it was down. Which brings us, by the way, to Madison Square Garden last night, where CM Punk did have his first match in WWE in a decade. And unsurprisingly, he beat old Dominic Mysterio with the GTS and cut a promo afterwards, which we're going to talk about here in a moment. But the rest of the show had Becky Lynch beating Zoe Stark, Kofi beat Ludwig Kaiser, Katana Chance and Kaden Carter retained their titles over Chelsea and Piper, which was a WWE Women's Tag Title match. Omos is still around. He beat R-Truth, squashed him. MVP said he would pay R-Truth money if he could knock Omos off of his feet, and Truth could not. So I
love it. You got to pay a ticket. You got to buy to see Omos. He's not going to be on your TV screen. You got to come out to the locals to see Omos.
Rhea beat Shayna and Ivy Nile in a three-way to retain the title. Finn Balor and Damian Priest beat Sami Zayn and Jey Uso for the tag team titles. So Sami Zayn back in action, as noted yesterday. He was taking some time off, but he's back for, I think, 5 shows. CM Punk beat Dominic with the GTS. That was underneath Ricochet beating Bronson Reed. Cody Rhodes beating Shinsuke Nakamura in a bull rope match. And the main event was Seth Rollins beating Drew, no DQ, no count out, to retain the world title. And then he dedicated his win to the memory of Brody Lee and Bray Wyatt. And for those asking, why are we recapping WWE House Show? Who cares? Well, this was the most successful non-televised WWE show in the history of WWE, dating back to 1963. It did absolutely gigantic business. 16,000 people. They drew more money than any other non-televised show ever, and that's pretty big. They're on fire right now. So
and
now I head to L.A.
For a lot of people, Madison Square Garden still means something. And even though it's not the McMahons of yore who now have the promotion in their hands, to sell out Madison Square Garden, to break records monetarily at Madison Square Garden, is still a big deal. And it's a great bellwether for them, and they're extremely hot right now. Look, they were able to be in Baltimore on the same night and have Randy Orton there and have a whole card there as well, too. But they treat that show as if it's a big deal, and it was a big deal. And at the box office, it was a gigantic deal. And they had Cody in a bull rope match, the first one they build there since 1978 when his father faced superstar Billy Graham. So CM Punk's return, they did a really good job building this up and marketing this up. And frankly, this whole holiday tour, I think they've done a good job with. And, you know, they're on their way to Boston and Detroit, I believe it is, tonight. So we'll see how these continue to go. But they seem to be doing, again, maintaining the heat that they have leading into Royal Rumble.
I can't figure out if people are trying to downplay this or not by saying that they charged a lot of money for tickets.
No kidding.
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like,
AEW's
the biggest gates of all time have all been because they paid a lot of money.
Yeah. And now more than ever,
that's
you're
the
paying
point.
More for any entertainment dollar. But, like, you know, AEW is charging a lot of money for tickets in Canada. They're not selling them. They look, there were a lot of tickets for a lot of big money for All Out. Guess what? They sold those. So, like, it is a big deal. And right now, when it comes to WWE, anybody trying to, like, you know, throw shade at what they're doing live attendance-wise, no matter where they go, is just being silly.
All right, a couple of other notes here, and then we will talk about the NXT show after the break. Goldberg does not like Vince McMahon. Called him a piece of S. Very, very unhappy.
A sandwich?
Well, you know, he's got a lot of things that he's mad about. Vince is like Dana White, he said. He's a big boss. He makes everything happen. But all honesty, he gave me the opportunity to put my wife and my son in the front row. Gave me the ability to perform and get in front of them. I owe him everything. Till we went to Saudi Arabia, and he asked me to put Roman Reigns over, and I had COVID. I remember calling from my house here, and I said, listen, here's the deal. I'll do it if you give me a retirement match. So I put myself in a horrible situation to get what I wanted, but to satiate him and to give him what he wanted. Problem is, he never held up his part. So Vince is a horrible person as far as I'm concerned. So I guess he was promised a retirement match.
Well, can he have one and just retire and get out, please?
Well, I think that's what the idea of his retirement match would
be. Whenever that Israeli thing happens, I wish all the best to him. I think it's awesome. Go ahead with yourself, Bill. You never really liked the business anyway. You were able to get a lot out of it. And frankly, when it gets right down to it, some of the characters you had to deal with and how you came into the business. I get it. You didn't respect it. I know that. That's great. You've juiced enough out of it. I don't care about your retirement. I think there's a lot of people who don't care. Let's just hurry up, get this out of the way, and then you can go be happy doing what you're doing acting and doing all the great philanthropy that you do for other people. Go ahead and do that.
This guy says he hopes the henchmen tonight are the Kingdom, and then they all come down with the wheelchair and the neck brace in their henchman outfits, and then claim it's not them. Problem is, it's not going to happen. And also, why would you claim it's not you if you won the tag team titles? Guess it's possible they won't win the tag team titles.
God, this is just drawing on forever. Taven Bennett should be the ROH World Tag Team Champions. I mean, that should be the case, and I would assume no matter what happens here, they will end up being part of this henchman's army, but oh my God, I hope they have something great for the reveal at the end, because this is feeling like some later portion of the NWO meeting the Black Scorpion. And for those kids out there who don't remember the Black Scorpion, don't go back and look it up, because it wasn't very good. But you know what it was from? It was from the 90s, WCW, which Tony Khan loves to look back on and pull from. So beware.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live.
Welcome to the special tour of Figure 4 Weekly Headquarters, as promised. Today I will be accompanied by my assistant Vincenzo, so let's get moving. Hey, don't worry about it. Today's a special day, I'll drive. Vince, today's gonna be a good day, so let's not F anything up, okay? Now, I'd like to tell everybody, I just want to give a short speech on the way to the compound here today, and that is that we are going through very tough economic times right now. Right, Vince? It's a time of stock market crashing, the yen is devalued, a time of woe and want. And many of you watching this right now, for all I know, are unemployed. But the good thing is, and I always like to look on the bright side, as Vince is well aware, the good news is that for every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. And the silver lining is that Figure 4 Weekly is doing great. It's a huge success right now. Subscriptions are up, quality is down, profit margins are skyrocketing, things are going very well. So the one thing is that I don't want to make it seem like money is everything, because money cannot buy happiness, but what it can buy is enormous houses, and that makes me happy. So we will be going to see my enormous house, the Figure 4 Weekly compound, and that's where we're heading right now.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com. Man, the Bryan and Vinny show last night Check it out. Subscribers at WrestlingObserver.com or video.f4wonline.com. We reviewed the Christmas Cage match where Kerry Von Erich got the door slammed on his head. And we were thinking about continuing to review World Class for another month because apparently it gets hot after that angle, I hear.
Yeah.
But then this person here notes, for what it's worth, the main event of the next World Class episode is Andre the Giant, Bugsy McGraw, and Kerry Von Erich versus Terry Gordy, King Kong Bundy, and Bill Irwin.
Wild Bill.
Huh.
With General Skandar Akbar, baby.
How about that?
Watch it. Look, it would be entertaining even with that combination, and I am not a Bugsy McGraw fan at all, especially during that time, but the promos that you'll get during the show and all that other stuff, I have a feeling that it will be worth it. If the listeners are interested in listening to it, I guarantee you'll get entertainment value out of it.
Well, I like to put things in the listeners' hands, except for this desire to bring back Rob.
What is that about?
We'll see.
By the way, is he still laying in the backyard?
I haven't opened the garage since I got back.
It's a better move that way.
I don't know what kind of corpses might be in there. Now, before we get to the NXT report, just a quick mention on my Twitter at Bryan Alvarez. Head up there right now. The second of 4 guest co-host spots for the Bryan and Vinny Show. You can bid on eBay, and the winner can co-host Bryan and Vinny, Observer Live, or the Filthy Tom Show. A lot of fun. It's up to, I think, $860 right now.
I want to know what masochist is going to choose this show over one of those.
But we appreciate everyone's bids, and the more you can donate, the better. So, don't be shy.
No.
But there's second one up. We got 2 more coming.
We use that line on you during renegotiations.
You can choose the show you want to co-host. Bryan and Vinny, Observer Live, or Filthy Tom. Take your pick.
Not Observer Radio unless you've really got money.
Yeah, shy does mean cheap. It's all going to a 401. What is it? 401 501c3.
501.
What's a 401?
That's
401k.
401k,
It ain't going to that, unfortunately. 501c3. Buy a bunch of shovels for everybody.
And mulch.
You ever scoop mulch? I have. Sucks.
Yeah. Stinks.
And hey, you want to know what? If you want to get me doing something that sucks, is that what you want your money to go for? Do it. I'll shovel mulch. There you go.
If you want to torture Bryan Alvarez by way of physical labor, this is your shot.
Yeah. I did full truckload of mulch in 30 minutes a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, yeah?
That was a lot of mulch.
How long were you laid up afterwards?
It sucked. Absolutely sucked. I didn't need to do it in a half hour, but I tried to challenge myself. Why? All right, we had Out the Mud versus Chase U on NXT.
Speaking of challenges.
So the storyline was if Out the Mud won, Chase U could pay off all their debt because they had a bet going with Out the Mud. But if they lost, they were back to square one. And in fact,
they were playing craps to get their money back last week.
Yeah, this storyline's stupid. But anyway, they lost. So OTM gets a tag title shot, and Chase U is still, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Because they didn't win hundreds of thousands of dollars in that craps game. Yeah.
Every day that goes by, interest needs to be collected on that.
I got to say this Out the Mud. You got Bronco Nima, who's the real big dude. And you got Lucian Price, which is a smaller guy. And usually, in a team like this, it's like the smaller guy, he's faster, he's more agile, he's better, and the big guy is there just because he's big. That is not the case here. This Bronco Nima is by far the better Out the Mud. I don't know.
He's further out the mud.
He's further out the mud, yeah. I think I would say that Nima's kind of still in the mud. Or no, Bronco Nima's out of the mud, and then Lucian's still in the mud. But anyway, this Bronco Nima, mark my words, you're going to be something. He can sell. He's big. I mean, he's big.
Big.
And big guys like that usually cannot sell. And he can sell. And he can hit people. I think he's going to be something. Yeah, he can hit people. Tag Team of the Year was won by the Creeds. Female Superstar of the Year, Tiffany Stratton. Male Superstar of the Year, Ilya Dragunov. Trick met with Mello backstage, and he says, we may need to push this match back. Mello goes, no, dude, go do the match. Guy's hurt. And Trick says, well, you don't think I can beat him when he's healthy? Mello says, don't mean it like that, but you know what? In 10 years, no one's going to talk about whether you beat him at 100%. They're only going to talk about whether you won the title or not. So do this match.
That's a good point.
We had Noam Dar and Josh Briggs for the Heritage Cup. Listen, I like Heritage Cup matches, but there's two things I don't like. And that is, they always do a commercial during the third fall, and we see none of the fall, which is stupid. And also, it's like there's always some new rule that gets introduced. So, they're doing this match. Briggs hits him with a lariat in the second fall, pins him. He's up 1-0, okay? Third fall, etc., fourth fall. So, the fourth fall, Briggs is running wild, and a bucket gets thrown into the ring. And he gets hit with the bucket behind the ref's back. Noam covers, but Briggs kicks out. So then Briggs is mad, and he grabs the bucket, and he hits Noam, and he gets DQ'd, okay? So, I figured, because I'm a normal person with a functioning brain, that meant, okay, well, now it's 1-1, and we got 2 rounds left. Well, then they go, no, if you get DQ'd at any point during the match, the whole match is over. I was like, what? What? So Briggs lost the whole thing via DQ. I was like, this is stupid. But they did protect Briggs. They're clearly going somewhere with him, because we'll get to it in a minute. We had Axiom and Frazier talking, and Frazier's burying Braun Breaker, who then shows up. He challenges him to a match for later. We had Cora Jade, Carmen Petrovich. Cora won with a DDT, and then Gigi ran down afterwards, made the save. It was there, is what it was.
Yes.
Yeah. Then we had Lexis King and Riley Osborne in a breakout tournament semifinal. This is also a stupid storyline. So, Trey Bearhill is supposed to be in the tournament, but Lexis King hits him with a chair. One chair shot to this absolutely enormous offensive lineman. One chair shot. They announce he's out of the tournament, even though he didn't have a match that week. He wasn't supposed to wrestle until the following week. They remove him and they put in the guy that hit him with the chair. So that's stupid. Well, then, the next week, Trey Bearhill's there trying to kill Lexis King. It's like, well, why couldn't the guy be in the tournament then? So, you figure, okay, well, Lexis King, he got put in. He didn't earn it, so he'll probably win the whole thing for heat. Nope, Riley Osborne beat him. Shooting Star Press. And then it looks like Bearhill is going after Lexis. And
stupid.
It's going to be a match. Yeah,
absolutely dumb, because you have this guy in Lexis King from the time he has stepped in there and changed his name. They have turned him into his father more than he ever was as Brian Pillman Jr. by having him use mind games and just be a kind of a slimy guy.
Yeah, but he's the best he's ever been.
Exactly. Listen to me. Weasel into wherever he's ever been. And he has been the best he's ever been. So then Trey Bearhill, a guy who he had no respect for last week when he laughed him off, walks out with a chair with a menacing look on his face. And Lexis King looks at him, and yeah, I guess you can call that a distraction. It was one of the cheapest ones you'll ever see to have him get beat by this kid, Riley Osborne. I just didn't think didn't work at all for me.
Ilya Dragunov and Carmelo was the NXT match of the year. I'd agree with that. That match was awesome. And Undertaker appearing at NXT was moment of the year. Braun Breaker beat Nathan Frazier. This was an excellent match. These guys should both be on the main roster, but they're not. We had No Quarter Catch Crew cutting a promo on Dragon Lee, Joaquin, and Cruz. They'll do a 6-man next week. And then, boy, what a segment we had. The Virgin, the Fornicator, and Fallon are all backstage. And, I'll need some dramatic music on the Bryan and Vinny show to fully recap this. But long story short, they have split up. Aww. They're all going their separate ways. Fallon's going to win the women's title. The Fornicator's going to go fornicate his way to the top. And the poor Virgin is alone again. It's sad.
Yep.
We had Blair and Lyra face-to-face. Very good. Oba Femi versus Tavian Heights. Tavian's got a ton of potential.
Both of them do.
So, of course, he lost to Obafemi.
Well, come on now. You're acting
Oba
like
was all right. He doesn't
surprise.
blow my mind like some of these other guys.
You think Obafemi running into Bronson Reed wouldn't be some good business?
Oh, someday it will be.
Yeah.
So it's
Him and
Obafemi
Dijak,
and Riley Osborne in the finals. Then, God, why did I say I like this show? Joe Gacy's been running around like an idiot for weeks, being all stupid.
Yeah.
Jumped off a building. We thought he killed himself, but then he was just back. He's hiding and being stupid.
I got the bill.
And then he's just randomly having a match on this show.
Sure.
I didn't even know it was happening.
Well, you didn't see last week.
It's Joe Gacy versus Joe Coffey. I did see last week.
Well, remember when he snuck out from under the ring like Hornswoggle?
I didn't know that was leading to a match.
Joe Coffey got swallowed up by the ring, but then came out like nothing happened later?
I didn't know that was going to lead to a match.
What do you think it was going to lead to?
Well, he's been stupid for months and it's not led to anything.
It's going to lead to a stupid match, which we got.
Well, the fans chanted, "Let's go, Joe. Joe forever. Joe is going to kill you." Both these Joes. They didn't care at all about the match. Joe Gacy won, and whatever.
Joes. Idiots.
Now I know why I like the show.
Why?
The main event. Eddie Thorpe and Dijak in Raw Underground. This was a great match. And it was one of those matches where Dijak is the monster, and the whole match is he cannot be killed. And it's like Wile E. Coyote. We're going to drop a rock on him. He's going to fall off a cliff. He's going to walk into a TNT thing, and it's all going to blow him up. He's just going to keep coming back.
The Acme cigar.
And he will not die. And the cool thing is, like, one of these things about Raw Underground that actually is cool is they surround the ring with the Performance Center students, and they're bigger marks than everybody in the crowd. They're freaking having the time of their life. They're pounding. They're screaming. Like, the atmosphere is awesome. And these guys are killing each other. They're taking bumps off the apron of the floor over and over again. And finally, at the end, Thorpe gives him a DDT off the steps through the announce table. Dijak is dead. The ref stops it. This was an excellent main event. And this Eddie Thorpe, he was very generic in New Japan. He was a good worker, but like there was nothing really that stuck out about him. But man, they have given him this. He's doing the Native American gimmick. Thorpe, obviously the last name, and he's got this.
Do the kids know Jim Thorpe anywhere, Brian?
He's got this new entrance where he dances, and between the dancing and the music and like the fans are totally into this song. I mean, his entrance, he comes off like a big time star. It's what he's been missing.
Brian was a big Tatanka mark back in the day.
Hey, I'll never forget when Tatanka's winning streak was ended by Ludwig Borga.
Ludwig Borga.
Yeah, God, that was.
Oh man, maybe Ludwig Kaiser could do that to him if he makes it to the main roster.
But man, he's getting over here.
A Finnish heel, Ludwig Borga. That happened. 93 was kind of tough, folks.
And then last week the show ended with Ilya paralyzed,
95.
taking out a neck brace.
Yeah.
Well, him and Trick are sitting down. He's got his neck brace on, and he just goes, "Match is on!" That's it. The match is on, everybody.
Yeah. Should have learned something.
All right. Yeah. He's a tough guy. Back in a moment. Observer Live.
Jacob, I do want to ask you because we were talking about pro wrestling, and one of the best pro wrestling storylines that has been going on, like the last year and a half. You know where I'm going? It's the Bloodline. I want to get your thoughts on what Roman Reigns is doing, the Usos, Solo, you name it.
Man, they've been in there putting in work. I mean, we're talking about 3 years straight with the storyline, but I'm a fan overall. I'm a fan, and the crazy thing is, just because I'm related to them, when I watch, I think I know what's going on, then they always hit us with that twist. So, overall, man, they're doing good. Shout out to the Bloodline. Shout out to Us and them. Fatu's, Anawai's, we're really all one family. But I'm excited. I'm a fan. At the end of the day, I'm like this, though, watching, barbecuing at my house. So, it's real good to see,
So I'm curious, do you think we're ever going to see Jacob Fatu creep up in that storyline? You think it's happening?
In due time. I mean, it could be there. It could be anywhere. But in due time, man, like I said, leave it in God's hands. And if it happens, it happens. If it don't, I'll still be watching them like this. You know what I'm saying? So overall, very, very proud of my family. Very proud of Solo, what he's done. Very proud of the twins. Very proud of Roman. Just very proud of my family, period, That's it, mate.
What's been your favorite moment for them, whether it be for Roman Reigns, whether it be for the Usos, for Solo?
It was WrestleMania, Saturday and Sunday, to see their main event. You know, when I seen Solo walk out with Roman, like, getting goosebumps, like, just tears in my eyes, man. Just seeing the main event. That was the highlight, like, for me, seeing them. Not only that, it happened in California, in L.A., so it was good, man. It was real good. I'm about to cry right now, talking about them right now. But shout out to the boys, though, Us.
Is it easy to stay in touch, obviously being like a big family? Like, are you guys make sure you're on the road, they're on the road?
Absolutely, yeah. Like, you know, they'll tap in, tell me, like, the do's, the don'ts, you know. But we've always been close, way before wrestling, you know. They was shooting me with a paint gun back in the day, you know. But overall, yeah, man, like, we're really family-orientated. We really are. So shout out to Tran, too, Sister Tran over there at TNA. So, yeah, man, we're very family-orientated, and there's a reason why the Samoan dynasty has lasted like this, because we really tap in and we function with each other, you know. So, and shout out to all 7 of my kids out there and my beautiful wife. I wrestled with the ring on today. Just trying to throw it out, trying to get some brownie points right now, you know. So
I was gonna say 7 kids. What is that like, man?
It's a life changer. Keeps me on my toes. That's probably why I'm so light in the ring, you know. So, but overall, man, no, it's been good. It's really been good, and I couldn't be no happier, you know.
Jacob Fatu, I gotta tell you, I've appreciated chatting with you. You're like the coolest dude. I've been waiting for this interview, so thank you so much. I appreciate you, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Hello.
Well, back here on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Mike, you may be solo tomorrow.
Oh, yeah?
Not sure yet.
What's up with that?
I'm not sure yet. So, normally you're solo on Friday.
Yes.
We may switch it around, or we may, I don't know what's going on. But,
no problem.
Yeah.
Much like AEW and WWE does, everybody, at some point tomorrow on Twitter, on social media, we'll let you know what the lineup is going to be for Wrestling Observer Live.
Yeah, I intend to be here tomorrow.
You got court?
But I may not be able to be here tomorrow.
Christmas show fallout.
And if I can't be here tomorrow, I intend to make it up on Friday. But I can't guarantee that either.
You've used up all the vacation days for the year. You're stuck. You can't get out
Actually,
of
I may be traveling somewhere.
Oh, no.
I'm just not sure. But I'll bring all this stuff. We'll do all the shows. We'll still be around this weekend for this World's End pay-per-view and Sunday night at Bryan and Vinny's show.
The living end.
Where we'll talk about it there as well. Although Craig apparently won't be there because it's New Year's Eve. Is that right? Sunday's New Year's Eve?
It is indeed. Oh, he's going out with the Mrs. A.
Yeah. And then I got to figure out, I don't know if we have a show on New Year's Day. This whole end of the year thing is just a mess.
Yeah.
It's a right mess,
yep,
as they say over in the UK.
Have people been on your back about a prediction show date yet?
No, but it'll happen.
Yeah, surely.
I got to go through the predictions at some point. So anyway, we're going to wrap it up, everybody. Hey, that was a fun final segment.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to you again next time. Wrestling Observer Live.